We're now joined on the line by political analyst Protas Madlala. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. Just give us a sense of and your take about the political violence in the region. Is it escalating? Is it getting out of control? Or is it just been underreported over time?
I think it's all of the above. It's escalating, it's continuing, and particularly there are three hotspots that I can think of. One is in the Eastern Cape and Zimkulu area, Richmond, and obviously the famous Cliplands hostel near Umlazi township, where there is continuously every week. I mean, even this week we had a killing in one area in Cambertown, which is near Catorich, between Durban and Pietermaritzburg. A 35-year Mr. Keys was killed. So it's really every week. It has become a weekly diet in KwaZulu-Natal. And it seems to be like a historical trend for this province, because it's only happening in this province. And as you know in history, all bad things, most of the bad things, the national bad things started in KwaZulu-Natal, like the Calabar, which eventually turned into apartheid. We are the capital of the world in terms of HIV and AIDS. Violence of the 80s started here. Now it's starting here again with this now, which seems to be very much inside political killings of leaders, either councillors or officials.
I wanted to ask that question, actually. I mean, what is peculiar about KwaZulu-Natal? Because if this political infighting, and we're hearing from the leaders in some of the parties, particularly the ANC, saying that it could be about positions, people trying to get positions, but that battle is right across the country. Why then is it violent in KwaZulu-Natal, particularly violent in KwaZulu-Natal?
I think for an answer to that question, we have to wait for the report of the Morana Commission, which is wrapping up its work right now. But it's still a question that baffles all of our minds. Why in this province? Why? I mean, there are tensions of fighting machines everywhere in the country, but they don't lead to physical violence or murders. But it's mainly only here. But also I think it raises another question. I think of the crime intelligence. Either they are captured, or they are not professional, or they're not interested. Or because, I mean, with my little investigative reporting skills, if I were to go to all of these areas, within a week I would know who is killing who. They know who is killing, who are behind this. And I don't think there's one person. They are known.
So what would
you just have to go to informal places. People will tell you privately. And also, I think also there's an element of distrust. People would never disclose this information to the police.
So, again, you know, why would there be no one willing to take action or put an end to this? The President is meeting with the Police Minister, Sihle Zikalala, and it would seem that this problem has been there for some time. It's been known. Why the urgency only now? Is it Sindiso Magaqa?
Yeah, that is a very interesting question. I think you have answered it yourself, because that has been my worry. I've never heard of our top leaders condemning this violence or coming out or even visiting these hotspots. It's only now. Probably they realize that it's going to escalate towards the December elective conference and even after. And we saw this development even before the August the 3rd local government elections last year, and it continues ever since. So, but it's regrettable, the power that we are only talking about this. It looks like life in KwaZulu-Natal, especially African life, is very cheap in KwaZulu-Natal.
So the Morani Commission will come with its findings, its causes, and perhaps even come up with some recommendations. But from your viewpoint, is this the type of violence that can be stopped with a concerted effort?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It just needs a political will to stop it. You need very good intelligence unit, even if it means importing or people expertise from outside the province Also even getting it from outside, like other countries. I mean, you recall that in the violence of the 80s, the violence was never stopped, essentially by the police. The government had to to bring in the military into the townships, and then it stopped. It brought in people who were not known, and they were no-nonsense people, and then the violence went down drastically.
All right, so if it is political violence, I'm just trying to understand, in the run-up to the local government elections, one can understand a localized violence because there are local positions up for grabs. But now we're getting into an elective conference for the party. Why would there be an upsurge in violence now? Because there's, in theory, nothing at stake on the ground.
There isn't one reason for one killing. I think in certain areas, like I heard about the Magaqa one, some of his comrades saying he was questioning about expenditures and he was anti-corruption. So in certain areas, it has to be. I even remember the first one that happened in KwaZulu-Natal of Sbiya, small Sbiya in Inanda. Because if you also look at it, the modus operandi is always the same. They hit you. You are from an ANC meeting. Just as you reach home, they hit you. So there is a number of reasons, not one reason. It could be corruption. People are fighting corruption. It could be fighting for positions. Then it could be people fighting for tenders. It's a number. It's a combination of those reasons.
All right.
And I think obviously on the other extreme, it's an indictment against our South African police services.
All right, and that's where we'll leave it. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. That was Protas Madlala joining us on the line from KwaZulu-Natal.